Thank you to the BDC for giving us this very fantastic opportunity. I was humbled to even be invited to do this, so I have to say thank you very much for that. The presentation I did, when I practiced it, let me get comfortable, took about 40 minutes the first time. When I did it the second time, it took about an hour. So I know lunch is very near, so maybe I could keep it in under an hour this time. If the slideshow would start. I made a mistake in the presentation. The company started in 1952 by these two people. These are my grandparents, Lenny and Sylvia. They started the company, and the Business Guardian did a very interesting spread, a full page on the way the company started. Not many people know Lensyl comes from the combination of their names, Lenny and Sylvia. This picture was taken at a time, note the well-dressed man and lady. They were in England, and he was working there as a mechanic. He was a very gifted mechanic. Life was rough for him up to this point, I would say. I need to be very sensitive about how I say some of these things. When he was young, he was a sailor. After that, he worked as a truck driver, not very glamorous, but this is life as it started out. Then I understand he worked in the Tobago fishing depot. He worked in the forestry division for the ministry. Pretty rough. The company started in 52. I understand he was about 40 years around that time. So he didn't start young. And, well, fortune changed. As you can see, I'm not 50. I'm 34. Welcome to your next set of business leaders, Generation X and Generation Y. I already feel old. So these are the people who started the company. A little bit about the mattress industry and what we do. I wanted to not take the entire 20 minutes to give you a history. I also wanted to talk about some of the challenges that we face in businesses, family businesses. So generations is a very key point in keeping with the theme for the BDC today. There are 5 major retailers, obviously. We know who they are. Courts, Standard, Singer American stores. Fenn is very key. Unique is a name that everybody knows. And there are 200 more other retail shops. So anytime you want to get into the retail business, these are the people you go to. That's success. We did not always have success because not all of them wanted to have our mattresses. But things have changed. It's an oil and steel business. The raw material to make the foam is an oil derivative. So when world prices fluctuate, the prices of your mattresses fluctuate. Dreams become expensive. When steel prices go up, the spring that goes into the mattress becomes more expensive as well. So you can't get away from it. It will happen. Well, the spring and foam, as I said, one very important thing to mention in this industry, or manufacturing on a whole in Trinidad, all of the raw materials are imported, and that poses a huge host of problems, and you need to understand there's a family dynamic. I grew up hearing about these things. I put that there specifically because I remember my father saying it. Customs, regulatory compliance, bringing in dangerous chemicals, updated laws, keeping abreast of it, delays on the port, products being damaged, boats sinking, retailers demanding their product, not being able to deliver, frustrations, the bank, wink, wink. All of those are struggles that I certainly don't really represent well. I'm new on the scene. So my father is here as well. He is the chairman, and he really took the brunt of those things because he spanned the greatest length of time in the company. So this is what we do. These are the brands. I put this this slide with a name of brands or commodities. The business really is a commodity business. Anybody could make mattresses. Anybody could find the suppliers, buy the foam, buy the springs, and put it together. What sets it apart is brands. It's not very special. Anybody could do it. Not everybody could do it well, but anybody could do it. Foam brands, very important to know, All Night. And the spring brand is called Lensyl, the name of the company, and the founders. We don't make luxury products. We make quality products. Luxury and quality is different. If we had to compare ourselves to a car, we would be a Honda. Durable, good value, good perception, value for money. We won't be maybe German or Italian. That's the perception of luxury. It's not always quality sometimes. And we know that in the business, because you could cheat a lot in the mattress business. You don't see what you're buying. It's covered with fabric. You don't see what's in there. So that is where the quality issue and the adherence to quality comes in. There are other brands that we make as well. King Coil and Sleep ID is an American brand under contract. We also make a line for standards. Some of you may know Jumbo. It started a long time ago. We make the Sleep On It line as well, half of it for quartz. So we're doing our job as a manufacturer to produce brands. They're all commodities. The one thing which isn't a commodity is this newly acquired brand, Temper. This is proprietary. It's patented. Nobody could make it. It's only made in 2 places on the planet right now. China can't copy it. Imagine that. Denmark and the US. And that's, again, it's protected. So we can't make it, but we could make, King Coil, we could make Seta. All of these things are made here under license. This is a timeline of the company's history, and you probably can't see the writing. It's small. But it started in 1952, and it comes up to now. But some of the major milestones. My grandfather acquired property in Macoya in 1968. What is that? 16 years after, or something like that, 52? Yeah, 16 years after, moved the entire operation to Macoya. 3 years after that, Robert Lall returned, his son. So that's 19 years into it. And Robert, generational family conflict. There's a cliche, family businesses do work in them. It's not easy. That's another dimension to entrepreneurship, because I'm sure whatever is being started, you'll want to have it carry on, and you need to pay a lot of attention to how that takes place. I'll talk more about that soon. In '76, that All Night brand started. It's really maybe half of our production. And a lot more things happened. What else happened? In '82, there's an X there, 1982 X, complete destruction by fire. Family issues, panic, antidepressants or depressants. It's not easy. It's not easy. Yes, I'm blunt and dry, but let's be injecting humor. In 1983, they had to rebuild. Insurance these are things I grew up here and remember. You learn about insurance, the mistakes in insuring your property, not getting everything back. You learn, I grew up here, and these things is a family inheritance. These are the conversations I have growing up. They also acquired a foam plant and split the business in 2, so that the flammable part of the business, people want to know why these things happen. Well, that part of the operation is flammable. When you combine the chemicals, much like baking a cake, you have to combine it in the right proportions for it to rise and remain and stay. If you don't do it right, it could collapse, or it could just spontaneously ignite and destroy everything you have. So the business was split in 1983 with the acquisition of that foam plant, and there was another total destruction by fire in '89. It had to be rebuilt again. So think about your holdings and your wealth. All of that is being affected. And it's not easy to deal with. So there are ups and there are downs. There was that recession in the 80s, challenges to business. There was the coup in 1990. There was some diversifying in 95, 97. We added a furniture department. We added metal beds, ornamental, decorative metal beds, distribution of that. Soft furnishings were added as well. All of these are things that my father did because he really wanted to lift the profile of the company. It was family owned, not family operated. It wasn't filled with cousins and nieces and nephews taking all the management positions. It wasn't that. And that was a level and a standard that he wanted to take it to. In '98, we actually won an award for the excellence in business, again with the BDC. There was a major event in 2001, 3 years after that, when I came back into the company. That was the World Trade Center bombing, mini recession again. There was a flood in 2003 that affected the entire Macquarie region, problems and challenges again. We also won another award in 2003. My sister returned, who is the other director in the company. Like the video said, we formed the real executive management. After that, I really got then there was something called the global economic crisis in 2007 that everybody knew about, but they didn't see. Because people, particularly in the banking, do I look serious when I say it? It is a lot of pain, and we're laughing at it. There's a lot of pain, but nobody could really anticipate that, but they knew. If you look at... Laugh, yes. Yeah. If you look at videos and you read the information, they knew what the exposure was, and it happened. So it affected the business very badly. We're laughing at these times, young people, generation-wise, we all running around, going to... where you go to? 51? Right. I don't go out. See, I was born old. My father is the Zoomer who thinks he isn't old. But this is a very dangerous time. Banks went bankrupt. Countries went bankrupt. People killed themselves. It's a very dangerous time. Businesses closed down. So yes, again, we have to weather the storm. And in considering the timeline of the company, maybe it's a good thing I don't own it, because I might have decided to throw in the towel. Well, the idea there, let me finish the idea. The idea there is a good thing. My father really had the tenacity that I was talking about. You know? Because I spoke to people that he didn't know, but I went to Nilco. I wanted to, get a better understanding of the economy. I didn't talk to an economist, doctor. But I did a lot of reading, because you have a huge learning curve coming in. And I thought the strategy at the time, it wasn't fair. I wasn't afraid. I thought the correct strategy at the time was exit. And my sister agreed with me. So it's a good thing Robert Lall dug his heels in, and he said, to hell with that. I went through a recession before. And the captain steered his ship. So, we ended up in a pretty better place now. And now, of course, I see a grand future in it. So let me continue. The culture that has been transmitted through the generations of the company is one of where we just value three things. And I really decided to share these things. It's not a very business-savvy presentation, as you could tell already. I don't use a lot of business jargon, but we'll get to the numbers and the regular business stuff. Employees are very important. Again, I grew up hearing my grandfather say he would sacrifice his family to keep the employees happy, to keep the business happy. Maybe that's not a very modern way of thinking, but that's what he did because he felt he had to do it. It's a philosophy. So that was a lot of strain. And you might realize I'm emphasizing the tensions involved in family businesses and the pressures. Apart from the employees and valuing the employees and trying to keep them and groom them and nurture them, develop them, of equal importance is the integrity and quality of the product. Remember, quality, not luxury. Honda, not Jaguar. In Trinidad, we say Jaguar. Oh, wait, it's Jaguar. So we are quality. Quality in the spring mattresses, quality in the foam mattresses. They don't give out, and we know how to cheat, and we don't. Like I said in the video, that statement, "we don't make a crap mattress," was told to me. And I'll tell you, courts, they are the ones who told me that a few years ago when they came back in to us as a customer, because we were not working with them for a while. Fortunately, they returned as part of the improvement. And the final point, the final pedestal, management pedestal, culture pedestal for us is the business entity, growing the business. Another thing I grew up hearing is, unfortunately, my father never wanted to be rich. He wanted to grow the business. So a lot of the investment went back into the business to expand the premises, to expand the buildings, the capacity, the equipment. All of these things happen over a period of 50 years with all of these challenges, and we have what we have today, a pretty large business running. I've been able to come into it shaky, and I managed to stabilize myself and could continue and see the benefit and future in it. It's a responsibility, and I understand that now. So that is really the first half of the presentation, what the company is about, what we've been doing, how you do business here. We do have competitors. There are two. One is bigger than us, one is smaller than us. Now I want to talk more about the transition issues and the generational issues, the family business issues, because that needs to be properly dealt with. The transition went from father to son, and from the second generation son to professional management. And then it came to me, really, there was no other choice left. So yes, I'm being very blunt again and honest. There was a reason for that professional management though too, because my father he didn't want to have this family company where you have limited talent, limited selection to grow the business. That's actually a very commendable, big thinking way, because in reading about family businesses, which I do, I read a lot. Yes, the name of the book that I will tell you about is Wise Growth Strategies for Leading Family Businesses. I had a lot of problems trying to get involved and integrated into the company. And these are the 4 things I listed out here that present themselves as challenges. I wrote to a university in Switzerland, describing the entire scenario, what I thought the problems were. Again, my father didn't know that. I thought there were things that needed to be dealt with. And this was IMD in Switzerland. It's maybe one of the leading family business research universities in the world. I went for the top. I don't know if at Lockjack, I know they have dealt with this topic before. And the program director wrote back to me, and he said that at the moment they're studying more complex governance issues. He sent me a free copy of his book, which is the one I'm talking about, and he advised me to get another job. So I did. And I need to hurry up. The caricatures of incoming versus outgoing. When you listen to them, these are the ones who have all the experience, not as much ambition, a lot of strength in our family case, and no question of security or assurances. So they know what to do, they're not worried about it, and they just leave you on your own. Start from the bottom, work hard, don't worry about where you would live and your family and all of those things. And the people who are coming in, this is not just me. I read this in the book, it's well documented, and I researched it everywhere else. We are coming in with insecurities. Where are my shares? I need a house. I want to prove myself. They don't have anything to prove again, they've done it before. It's an insecurity in that change in generation, and it's a very rocky time. I have no experience. The staff doesn't respect you. Anel was there with us at one point. It was real funny because you have no credibility. Nothing is established yet. Very real, and it has to happen as a process. So this is a very ticklish issue. This is a chart that attempted to show the employment as it gets transferred to generation to generation, and then the generations within your employment. So you have a young group, a middle-aged group, and an older group, coming with cultural ties to the previous regime. It's a complicated thing that has to be dealt with, and I'm dealing with it with some of his employees. I can't speak to a 20-year-old the same way I could talk to a 50-year-old who's used to his style. They might find I'm too soft. They might want to see me do what he do, which is blast a 20-year-old. But I can't do that. It may not be safe to do that. Really, I know the people, we have factory workers. So again, this is the timeline which shows the change in leadership. That fire that you see there shows that there were some problems in the handover between my grandfather and my father. I think the employees told me that. There were a lot of confrontations, open confrontations, and in my case, I kind of mellowed out. It was a difficult time, and sometimes, you need counseling for those things. I did a lot of research into the operations. I didn't get a lot of help to understand the company. I had to do a lot of research in the company, do a lot of reading. And, oh yes, 5 books a year. That is, if there's any advice I could give, it would be to read 5 books a year. Not non-fiction, of course. And New York Times bestsellers, maybe just 1 out of 5. You need to, another example I use for my younger employees, the 20-year-olds who maybe do illegal activities on a weekend, my advice to them would be to read more, because it's like a phone book. If you need to come up with a solution, you only have this many people to go through in your phone book. The more information you have, the more knowledge you have, the more resources you could draw on when it's time to make a decision. And you need to do that, and it could be a 10-year process in my case. When the time has arrived for you to make decisions, you need to have a base. You need to have a solid base. Over the last 10 years, this shows what happened in the company. There was an increase and there was a decrease. Sales is the goal line, went up great. Expenses, well, those are red, that went up faster than sales. Learn from it. It's a mistake. Take some liberty in saying that. It's a mistake with hindsight, because in 2004, 2003, nobody was thinking that there was an upcoming recession. So the owner of the company decided to invest more, buy forklifts, extend mezzanines, equipment, do all of these things to set up the company for the next generation and for the next level of leadership to come in, which would have been my sister and I. But there was some foolery taking place, and you have to be able to read the market well and be smart with it. What happened in 2005 to 2007? Our 2 competitors burned to the ground. So then, of course, business took off. What would you do? There's no recession coming. Invest more. Expenses went up more. More outlets, more rent, more staff, everything went up. Nice human resource programs and departments. Expenses went up. And then that business environment, from the middle of this chart, come forward, that business environment disappeared. So now you're stuck with all of the bills, and that is how businesses shut down. And that is when I thought it was time to get out of it. 2009, that blue line is the margin. So it actually took a dip. We were stuck with raw materials from 2008 that we took hell to clear on the port, difficulty. But since then, expenses have fallen. That was an improvement, and I'll just quickly get into that. Another nice chart would be this one. Well, it's nice. The blue line is nice because revenue per employee went up for the entire period. That is one very gross, large measure of efficiency. However, that gold line, I know the vision that my father had, he might be too happy with that. He wanted to be a nice big employer, and this is the reverse. Employment fell by about half, and that's a lot. That's a hell of a lot. And I had to personally see about that, which wasn't easy either, sending people home before Christmas. Ultimate Scrooge I was. It wasn't fun. It was one of the most miserable times I ever had. What did that research reveal, and what did it produce? We had to revisit, thanks Republic, we had to revisit our financial structuring to get the payment terms to be something that more workable for the company. The expenses fell a hell of a lot, by 30%. We were able to launch new products. This is just in the last 3 to 4 years. 2011 Sleep ID, 2012 this year Temper. We got courts back on and are doing additional lines with them after a long period, maybe 15 years of not doing business. And we modified existing products and started to do better with that. Where do I see the future? It's kind of early to say for me, but now you have a chance to hear what a young person might be thinking who reads a lot, because I'm weird. I'm increasingly getting weirder. The more I find out, leadership is where the future of the company is headed. I've been there for 10 years, including the 1 year I wasn't there, when I was advised to get another job. Leadership really is, the successful leadership really will guide the company forward. I'm already feeling old, and I think I will be irrelevant in 5 to 10 years. I'm sensing that already. How many more things can I implement? How many more fresh ideas can I implement? My father's been doing it for 35 years. He was burnt out in 1990. That's what he told me. In 1990, there was professional management that he depended on during that rough time when there was an incline and decline. There was no transfer. We all depended on professional management, and well, fortunately, that's something you could find in Trinidad, very capable level of professional management. And I think, my belief is, leadership, business leadership is not about how much money you could make. I think it's about how well you can care for the people that you have. That's what I think. I will say something, and I know some people, some people, well, there's a view that, businesses, you have to take profit. The Book of 5 Rings, I was rambling, but how could somebody, like we have an employee, he wanted to borrow $300, I lent him. I work with him, I'm very close with him. There's no separation there. I'm an excellent porter when I'm not trying to find new markets and products. I could port very well and keep the mattress department working. It's strong. But he wanted to borrow $300 to pay rent. I asked him how much was his rent, because I knew he was getting $15 an hour. This is very controversial. Rent is $1,000. He's making $2,500 a month in Lensyl. Horrible. I said, Suku, how could you be paying almost half of your income in rent? You're making a little piece of stupid money here. What are you doing? No. Here's the controversial part in leadership. I might have to eat my words later, but $2,400 is not enough, $15 an hour is not enough. What does it take for somebody to be comfortable? When I was 22 or something, trying to impress my then girlfriend, going out for expensive dinners, $500. I was making $3,000 a month. You all didn't know that. Minimum wage should probably be more like 25. shocking thing to see, and I'm sorry to see it. But that guy has a son at $2,400 a month. I don't know how he does it. So yes, there's an element of leadership involved there. Can't blame him for trying, finding a nice place to rent. That level of pay is more like indentureship, but I'll ramble more about that. Finding new markets, of course, that's important to the future of the company. That's self-explanatory. Efficiency, production and financial efficiency from end to end in production. And financially, do we go to the stock market to raise more funds? Do we issue bonds? There's a minimum amount for that. Do we try to raise financing abroad? Because although the Republic has excellent rates, I agree. You could get maybe 5% in a first world economy now, or less. How can I get my hands on that? I don't know. But I'll keep working at Republic for now. Innovations, real marketable innovations is very, very important. Do I have an iPad mattress to sell? I hope so. I do have a plan. And we'll see if the market accepts it. Oil, where will this oil go? The future, 10 years. The heyday for oil passed, apparently, in Trinidad from the 80s. We are now on gas, right? So where is oil going to go? We still need to buy raw materials. What is going to happen with the government when the gas revenues, as you saw the prices from the previous slide, they're almost in half, from $4 to $2.25. What is going to happen when gas goes the same way as oil? What is going to happen to the buying power? You have 600,000 people who represents the workforce in Trinidad, half of them employed by the government, construction, finance, real estate. What is going to happen to all these people in 20 years? I'm just conveying my understanding of what I've read. Experts will disagree, I know. That is a concern. So the final point there is game. We could play a game. If everything is right, if raw material prices are steady and we make $10 million in 2 years, and I could treat the employees and pay them better, we get the efficiency and we have access to the markets. Is Trinidad the place, realistically, to do that? If I make 2 million mattresses, there are only 1 million people here, and they continually leave in. 8 being born, no. 11 being born, 3 dying, or 8. The balance of them are emigrating, they're leaving here. I see vulnerabilities, and I think you all sense it. You all sense it. Everybody is very clever in protecting the future, having a nest egg. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. We run and we hide, get houses away. Everybody does it. I will do it too, because there are vulnerabilities here. From a business standpoint, our business depends on oil, gas. What is going to happen to the buying population? Will this be the place to invest in 20 years? And should I make that investment now? Will other companies make that investment now? So that's a game. I could talk really a lot more. I'm sure I went over, and I think I should wrap it up here. So I would really love to get the questions and ramble some more. Thank you very much.